Good afternoon once again. The topic for my next presentation is catheter-directed thrombolysis for acute VT shunt obstruction. Acute occlusion of a modified VT shunt is not uncommon and is very life-threatening in patients with shunt-dependent circulation. So I am going to present a such case and its management with catheter-directed thrombolysis by urokinase in an infant. Coming to case, a 5-month-old girl infant with a diagnosis of pulmonary atresia with intact septum, confluent small branch pulmonary arteries with tiny left PDA supplying pulmonary blood flow underwent right modified VT shunt. Immediate post-operative echo revealed well patent shunt and initial anticoagulation were given in the form of heparin infusion in first 2 post-operative days and EcoSpring was started from 0 post-operative day only. But from early 4th post-operative day, the baby started deteriorating clinically with gradually worsening hypoxemia with saturation dipping to 30s. There was narrow pulse pressure and no shunt murmur was audible. Echo revealed non-visualization of the VT shunt flow with tiny PDA providing pulmonary blood flow for survival. It was initially managed with high-dose heparin bolus followed by infusion, but the shunt didn't open. So CT angiography was done urgently, which revealed blocked VT shunt, as we can see here in this image, with a small stump patent at the right subclavian artery end and presence of partial thrombus in the left pulmonary artery. So without wasting any time, the baby was taken to the cath lab for shunt thrombolysis on late 4th post-operative day. 4 French JR catheter was advanced over J-tip turbo wire into the right subclavian artery and was parked at the proximal end of the shunt, and shunt angiogram revealed irregular filling of the shunt with complete non-opacification of LPA and its branches. Initially, thrombosuction was done and then 25,000 units of urokinase was given as bolus dose into the proximal end of the shunt. And then slow infusion of same dose of urokinase was given over an hour. VT shunt opened up and systemic saturation increased up to 85% in cath lab only. Post-procedure, shunt angiogram showed well patent shunt with disappearance of the thrombus and restoration of flow to LP and its branches. At 6-month follow-up, the baby had been doing well with saturation of 75 to 78% and well-functioning VT shunt. So coming to discussion, redo surgery exposed the patients to additional morbidity and mortality risks. So catheter-based intervention is definitely a less invasive approach to restore shunt patency with a good success rate. The non-surgical treatment modalities described in literature are basically systemic thrombolysis and balloon angioplasty with or without local thrombolysis in cases of acute stenotic shunts and stent placement in cases of chronic obstruction. As there is same efficacy of thrombolytics with either of systemic or local route, but bleeding risk is definitely lower in those treated with catheter-directed thrombolysis. It is the preferred method of administration if feasible. Our case did not require balloon dilatation or subsequent stent placement as it was a case of acute thrombotic state and the shunt showed complete patency after thrombolysis. So emergent catheter-directed thrombolysis is an effective and feasible alternative to balloon angioplasty or surgical revision to recanalize the acutely thrombosed VT shunt, especially in a critically hypoxic child with no significant systemic or local complications. Thank you.